What's going on, guys? Today I'll be showing you how I hit 10K. It was a really fun experience. Um, let's just get into a couple games. I'm just going to be going over every single game individually, commentating, and then I will, and then I'll show you the matchups and stuff like that, or tell you about matchups, and we'll just go through all these games until I hit 10K. So let's get right into it. Here we are into this game. I'm playing against Gabu Soto. This one was a pretty easy King Tie activation. If you use the placement I just used right there, it's just a really easy King Tie activation. Doesn't really take much. Let's see what I do here. I go cannon up high. So this is an interesting placement, but it's 100% calculated. So this is a graveyard. I'd say this is like a perfect defense. Yeah, and then I can just NATO the hog again, using that exact placement again. I think for maybe a couple of these games I was a little bit tilted, so maybe I didn't play as well as I should have, but it's okay. Yeah, for all these games I was running this Goblinstein deck, which is something I really like because I really like the Goblinstein. I always have. And the Goblinstein monster recently got a buff, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, I think I just go Ice in the back here. Because I know we're pretty much tied in Elixir, and his Tesla and my cannon are dead. And then I definitely go Evo Knight to tank this. And then I NATO that to the King Tower. I'd probably Graveyard here. Just because it's hitting double. If it was still in single, I wouldn't have done it. But usually when I get to my Evo Knight, double Elixir just started. So definitely got him set in the back here. Yeah. Ice Wiz. Probably cannon. Pop the ability. Yeah, there we go. It's really nice. The scientist, or whatever you want to call it, like Dr. Stun, actually stunned the Mega Knight, and I definitely go Graveyard Barbell here. Actually, didn't play it quite soon enough, but I had to go Poison with it because I knew he was going to place something on it, like Baby Drag. Nice that cannon gets a couple extra shots. That Baby Drag was a little bit annoying, but I think I just kind of ignored it. I don't even need a NATO. Because Ice Wiz and Goblinstein, they're such a good combo. And then I definitely go Graveyard and Barbell right here. I went Barbell out on the edge so that it wouldn't get killed by the Tesla super early. I definitely go Evo Knight here, yeah. I says I want to try and keep my Evo Knight alive for as long as possible. Because I don't really want to waste the Evo. I definitely go Cannon here. Goblinstein and Graveyard the Bridge. Yeah. I think it stays in for a little bit. Yeah, so it can tank, but Evo Megan is really annoying. I probably go Knight here to keep it alive, yeah. I probably should have popped the ability, but I thought it was gonna die a lot sooner, so definitely go Knight, yeah. Definitely NATO too, yep. Yeah, this is a defensive masterclass right here. And since he has no spells to counter the Goblinstein, it's so good. And he doesn't really have any amazing counters to Graveyard. He has some decent counters like Baby Drag, Tesla, stuff like that. But they're not great. Yeah, at this point, Poison takes it out. Really anything. Yeah, so pretty easy game there. And you'll notice in these replays that I'm actually a lot lower level than everybody else. I actually had to boost my bar barrel because it wouldn't kill stuff like a level 15 goblin barrel or level 15 skeletons. So that's why I decided to make this push. Okay, let's get into the next game. Here's the next game. So we're at 9,944 trophies. So I think this dude's slightly higher, which is good. I go knight in the back here. Where that? Thinking back, that was a terrible knight. I can't tell if Cannon would have activated King. I probably should have went like knight the back, and then Ice was to activate King or something like that. But it's really not the end of the world. But with this deck, since I don't have the extra DPS with Cannoneer, like Goblinstein kind of replaces it. Yeah, this one was one of the toughest games because I accidentally finger slipped and activated the King Tower. I had to go Cannon Ice was here because there's a Valk behind the Hog. But if there wasn't a Valk behind the Hog, I definitely would have played just NATO. Here I know I'm down a lot of elixir. I know he has Valk in his deck. He should have just... Holy. My voice. He should have just Valked in the middle of those two. That would have fully defended. Good bar barrel. Yeah, this game all of a sudden becomes a lot more complicated than it needs to be just because of that accidental King to activation. I knew he was going to do that, so I just went Evo Cannon. I waited to make sure, though. And then I tried to perfectly time that graveyard to where the Goblinstein would barely tank for it because the Goblinstein wasn't very high health. I think I did a pretty good job of that. I knew he's probably going to go Hog with this. Yeah, because he's running Hog Earthquake. Definitely NATO here. One thing I do struggle with this deck, though, is the timing on the NATO if the Ice Wiz is hitting the Hog. It's so annoying. It's a good poison there. I try and focus more on poisoning the tower than actual stuff, because it's way more important. I made sure to bridge block the Firecracker, so it worked pretty well. These Firecrackers, though, just wouldn't die. I knew he'd play Skellies on that, too. I was like, he's not a real Hog Firecracker player. Also, I did not realize that Firecracker would not walk into the right lane, but since I can ignore it anyways, I just kind of acted like I actually did hit the poison. Yeah, that scientist, though. Look at that scientist. Cannon here. Oh, yeah, also messing up my cannon placements. If I, like, place something else down. I'm never quick with my hands. Except for that. That was ridiculous. I knew he'd play Firecracker, and it still hit the tower. So annoying. Here I waited for the knight to die, and then I went Graveyard. And I knew this is a terrible Firecracker. Because now I can poison the tower and the Firecracker. So he should have kept playing his Firecracker outside of the tower because he knew I was just focusing on poisoning the tower. And then I predicted his Firecracker again. Nice NATO, definitely Barbaro there. Yeah, that's why I need Barbaro on this deck. I ran Log in this deck for a while, did not work. And also, in one of my previous videos, I ran Furnace in this deck, I think, instead of Ice Wiz. But this version's better right now. Can't tell if that hog got a shot or not. Okay, this was ridiculous. I did not know that would hit the tower either. Didn't know how OP the stupid Evo Valk was. Yeah, you can see how complicated this is. Because I'm not getting anywhere near as much damage as I should. As much damage as I should. Enough. Oh my goodness. Enough damage as I should. Because of that King Tower. But. So that was way more intense than it had to be. Okay, yeah, I'm going to show wins and losses too. So I think there's a loss that I had here. But let's just get in the next game. We're here in the next game. Here I'm 1 game away. And you can see from his starting hand that I am playing a hard counter. Not only does he have Dark Goblin, Suspicious Bush, and Skarmy. If you guys didn't know, Dark Goblin counters my deck. Because it's really, really good against Graveyard and really difficult to kill. I have to poison it. So I can't get pretty much any good Graveyard pushes down in single elixir or double for that matter. It's just really, really difficult. And the Suspicious Bush adds to that because I'm going to have to spend elixir on it. Also, I did not know that a lower level Ice Wiz couldn't deal that much damage. I didn't know the Suspicious Bush had like a damage thing that was needed, like amount of damage. You can see I'm already down 1400 damage. 400 of that damage being just, that is King Tower's higher level, but doesn't really make a difference. One thing I love about Splash Yard is that you can make the biggest comebacks out of absolutely nowhere. I decided to just get the wizard out of the way because I knew it'd go recruits in front of it. And this was a mistake on my part. I should have saved the bar barrel for the Dark Goblin, but it didn't really end up mattering. So it's pretty good for me. Here, I think I went Ice Wiz on that. Then I went NATO or just let it go. Yeah, that's way too much damage. But I was down on elixir anyways. That was ridiculous. I didn't really know what to cycle except for cannon, so. Because I kind of had to save my Goblin Stein for when he's starting a push. So I see the push is starting. Now I can NATO. The NATO placement itself wasn't great. The idea was there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a terrible barb barrel. Now the wizard, I feel like wizard's just so annoying. Should not have gone Ice Wiz there. That's a mistake. Because I already know he's up elixir, so that's a mistake on my part. Here I'm just so cooked. Like, look at what's happening. The wizard and the Dark Goblin coming down, plus this Suspicious Bush. Yeah, not very good. Definitely going Goblin Stein there. The only times that I beat recruits are with, like, that's my defense. I play Goblin Stein plus Cannon. And I pop the ability. That's such a negative elixir trade, it's ridiculous. And here I know I have to go in. But see, I was talking about the Skarmy and the Dark Goblin. I have to use a poison to kill both of them. So if he pressures me with something like Suspicious Bush, like it does right now, and I have to spend elixir on it, then I don't have the elixir for my poison when I do a counter push. This deck is like handcrafted to beat mine. That's how ridiculous it is. I maybe should have gone Graveyard, but I knew I was playing into the recruits, so I decided to wait and play Goblin Stein first. And then I went late Poison on there, yep. At this point, I'm playing pretty well. I feel like if this game had gone on for a while longer, like if the bar was, or if there was still like over 2 minutes left, there's a chance I could have clutched it. Because there are games like this where I've won when I should not have. But still. Right now I'm just hoping that I win. And also I go pre-poison because I know he has to play something on it. Go Evo Cannon. Try and bounce recruits back. Go Knight on that. Definitely Bar Barrel. Goblin Stein is my saving grace in this matchup. Or against recruits in general, but I just couldn't do anything. So a really unfortunate loss there. Recruits just counters me so well. Let's hop into the next match. I'm in the next match here. I'm at the same trophy count as I was before that win-loss scenario. Just a little bit unfortunate, but it's fine. Here, I definitely thought he was playing Hog 2.6. Now this is really, really weird. He had all the Hog 2.6 cards, but he had Valk. Which, if you guys didn't know, is usually in Hog Firecracker. So I thought there was a chance he's running something really, really weird, like a Mega Knight or something, and then I realized he just replaced the Valk instead. Yeah, here I decided to go really, really aggressive because I was a little bit tilted. So I thought if I was right about his deck choice, like that it was just a variant of Hog, then I automatically won. And I had not taken any damage prior to that push, or even during that push. I guess the deck is kind of like Hog Firecracker, but you don't activate the King Tower. So maybe it's actually a good variant. I decided to protect it right there. I did not realize he has Fireball. Because my thought process behind popping that ability there is not only to force something out and try and kill the Muskie, but also I thought he'd be running something weird because he had a weird Hog variant. I don't know if I ever got a King Tower activation, but I don't know if it ever really mattered. Yeah, I kind of choked for the rest of this game. I could have played that cannon. If you didn't know, if you place your cannon anywhere on that top tile on your side of the board, it'll place the same pattern of damage. So I could have placed it with such better placement, but I didn't recognize it in the moment, so it's fine. And I knew I could go aggressive here. It didn't really matter, though. Yeah, I started. You know when you're at the end of the game and you know you've won? You start playing like garbage. Sometimes you lose because of it. That's what I was kind of doing there, but we were able to pull it out. Let's hop into the next match. I'm in the next match here. I thought this dude's name was pretty funny. I think it still is pretty funny, but I thought he's playing Hawk 2.6 here. So my thought process behind playing Hog 2.6, if I recognize that it is indeed Hog 2.6, I will go super aggressive. But at my range, it could be absolutely anything. You just never know. And as soon as I saw this P.E.K.K.A, I knew I was playing something really, really wonky. I don't know if that's lucky. I think it's pretty lucky. But I ended up predicting that wizard. Yeah, I actually really like using Graveyard on defense. It's like a makeshift Skarmy. And actually, it's super good versus Evo Mega Knight. If you place like Graveyard on Evo Mega Knight plus Cannon, it counters it, and still like half the skellies survive plus your Cannon survives. Or like some of your, like a quarter of the skellies of the Graveyard survive and your Cannon survives, so I would consider that a positive or at the worst equal interaction. Here I just decided to poison. I really want to get that off the board. And I knew he'd play P.E.K.K.A. Because these P.E.K.K.A players, that's all they do, man. I thought it was really, really interesting that the P.E.K.K.A wanted to go for that. I always get a little bit nervous when the P.E.K.K.A like goes towards your tower, like anywhere near, but it ended up being fine. And in matchups like these, I don't mind naked graveyards. The reason for that is that it chips down really, really well. Because he gets like a solid like 300, 400 damage because he won't address it fully. Goblinstein was giant in this matchup. And look at that body block on that Evo Muskie. That was really, really funny. I made sure to go quick barb barrel on that. And then this is a great opportunity to go Evo Knight Graveyard. Plus poison. It's a little bit hesitant with the poison, but everything ended up being fine, so. And plus, that P.E.K.K.A was almost dead before it even crossed the bridge. And I predicted that Ice Spirit. So that's pretty nice. My cannon didn't even take a shot there. So I could use it for later defenses too. This is when I knew I had more elixir than him. Did I capitalize it? Absolutely not. But it's fine. So I have zero clue how that targeted my scientist there, but it's fine. Then I knew this fully countered the P.E.K.K.A. Here, I also knew that if you played anything with that P.E.K.K.A trying to like keep going with that push, he would instantly lose. Because now I have Graveyard plus Poison. Super deadly because it just chips the tower. You don't think you're taking damage, but you're taking a ton of damage. Look at this, bro. He has like 2 at least half health P.E.K.K.As on the board. Nice bar barrel there. Honestly, this is the thing with my deck, bro. I can defend anything. Look at those Ice Whizzes. So I made sure to get 3 Ice Whizzes on the board. For the memes. I think I went Knight, yep. And then I went Ice Whiz again. Bro. It's like I have an Ice Whiz army back there. Yeah, that was probably the cleanest win of them all. So, Ice Whiz army. That's all the games for today, but I made sure to play a couple games in here, and I actually kind of cooked. And I was playing some super mid-ladder stuff. The reason I started playing Splash Art in the first place was to counter mid ladder, because I was just playing Mega Knight every game. And then I had a couple struggles, but it's all good. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.